And there's a couple of new faces. Look at them all. Morning, everybody. I'm Thomas Garrison, and I'm your host in SEO and the buyer's journey and all kinds of things related to websites. I've been doing this for about 25 years, and I'll probably do it for another 40 years, God willing, or the universe willing. Mike, don't look at me like that. You're like, you're good for another year, pal. So I want to continue on with the buyer's journey. And last week, I gave you guys an image that I sent through, and it showed you the buyer's journey, plain and simple, for one layer. And I'm going to do it again today. I've just put it in chat. The reason I'm sending it again is because after the meeting last week, we talked with somebody and they were really confused about the term that we used on the page to which all of the buyer's journey pages point. The page where you want people to take action. So we said it makes a lot more sense to call it an action page instead of a landing page. Landing page term has been used in marketing and all kinds of different things, and it gets really confusing. Well, they'll land on this page, then it's a landing page. So move that aside. You're going to take people to the page where you want them to take action, whether it's purchase that, whether it's call you, whether it's contact you, whatever action you're asking the buyer to take. So the image that's in chat right now, I want you to all download that, override the file that you already had so that you see it's action page. Barbara, did that make sense?
Yes.
I'm picking on you just because I know you're kind of new to, you had just a tad bit of introduction to this.
Oh, I'm so up to speed now that I have 10,000.
Did you spend the last several days reading about EAT?
You know I did.
Well, you can see the mandates from Google are now completely different than what they were just for SEO. But the nice part about, at least in my head, and it should be for everybody else, the nice part about changing the mental structure, if you will, to seriously working on the buyer's journey instead of seriously working on SEO is that SEO is so hard with all the things that you have to do. And it takes time to learn all those things. And most people just go, you know what, enough is enough. The buyer's journey, it sounds like it's a lot of information, but if you think about it, it really is just adding 3 pages to support one page where you want people to take an action. Well, that's a lot easier than trying to figure out how in the world to get a site up in the top of the search engines with SEO. So doing it with the buyer's journey page, that's what Google wants. So they find those pages, provided that they're done right, and you get those pushed up in the search engines. And this is a lot for Bonnie too. So you're, for anybody who's working on those pages, you're trying to get those pages into the top of the search engines, and you don't have to have your website connected to those pages in order for that to happen. Those pages, because they're within your site, are still getting everything they need from Google, but they're not necessarily connected with a menu or anything. They all connect to your one page. Nothing's pointing down and connecting to them, except each of the buyer's journey 3 pages are connected to one another. But it's a one-way link. So if you follow that image, it shows you very clearly. There's nothing linking to those buyer's journey pages. But they still work because if they're done properly, Google's going to love them, put them up in the top of the search engines for local searches. I can't stress that too many times. Do not consider doing it for national. Bonnie, you were kind of shaking your head. Were you
No.
stuck on something?
No, I'm a little tired. It's cool.
Okay. Barbara, go ahead.
Am I unmuted? Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So when you say do it for local, not for national, you mean with the intention? I mean, the pages are out there, so does that make sense? Like you are doing the pages, they are on your site. As we talked about, they're on my site. So it's with the intention to target locally. And that's where we talked about putting in a city or whatever, because the pages are just there. The pages are just there. So
Right.
is Google not going to look for it nationally? They're only going to look for it locally?
Let me take a different twist on it and see if I can answer all your questions into one. When you target locally, it's extremely fast to get it up in the search engine, provided you do it all correctly. Just because the buyer journey pages are targeting local searches does not mean your action page needs to be targeting local searches. Does that make sense? So in essence, you're not really changing the action page.
I guess the question is the word target. Who's
targeting either
targeting by
national-
what I write,
You're
by what
targeting
my
either-
content is, or what Google is picking up?
with every page of every website, you're targeting either a local search or a national search. Period. If you don't say a city, or you really don't have anything that points to a city other than in the footer or in the contact page, you stated that you live in what area, or the address for your businesses, whatever area. If that's it, that's not really targeting local. That says,
Okay.
here's where my business is, but that's it. So targeting local means that you're using your city, your county, or whatever
Okay.
territory
That's what I was getting at. So you have to have that in there.
in the headings, in the
Okay.
text. Yes, so you're targeting the 3 buyer journey pages to local. Anybody else unclear about that part? No? Marty, did you have a question?
I'm just sitting here thinking, then do you have multiple sets of those buyer journey pages?
Oh, look at that. He's already looking way ahead. Maury, he's right after your own heart.
Big picture thinker.
Yeah, I'm trying to get people to understand just the basics so they can do it and get success with just one page. But you're absolutely correct. And Maury will have something to add, I'm sure, but if you have a lot of competition, even in the local market, the way to get on top of them is to do a first set of the buyer's journey pages. And if that's not getting you above your competition, you can do multiple sets. So if you have a handle, if you've already got it in your head how one works and how you would get 3 sets to work, then you're off and running. But you're going to be ahead of the rest of the people here because they're just struggling trying to get their mind wrapped around one set. But yes, you can have multiple sets. And that's where Maury would come in, because he'd tell you, you can do it as many times as you want.
Well, you can go as wide and as deep as you want too. It doesn't have to just go deep wide. So underneath each buyer journey page, you can break it down into subtopics and create more buyer journey pages to support the main topic. And you can go down even as far as 10 levels deep before it starts getting to the point of diminishing returns. But I mean, you only want to do that if your competition's crazy stiff and they've got a 15-year-old domain and they've been on #1 for the last 5 years and you're going after them. That's when you start building like that. But that's pretty rare and local. You're not going to run across that very often.
Did that answer your question, Marty?
Yeah.
Okay. Robert, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say I have a real world example for Barbara. I do a blog on butterflies and plants. And if I did Swallowtails of Washington State, where Thomas is, I'd be lucky to rank on the first 10 pages. But I actually did one on the Swallowtails of Spokane, Washington. And because there's hardly any competition on that topic in that area, I got first place in a snippet. So if you limit your area, you can eliminate a lot of competitors. That's the difference between local and broad.
I want to repeat too that I'm going to use Barbara as the example. She's got a lot of pages doing really well in the search engines because she sells dresses. So what she sells and how she sells it, that sort of thing. There is a lot of competition, but she's been doing it for a long time and she's been coming to our meetings for a long time. So she's got a lot of her stuff up the top of the search engines. So her mind is kind of like, why would I do local when I'm already a national? Because the buyer's journey pages have not been in your site for very long. And you want to get them to the top of the searches or local, because you can do it in anywhere from, I've seen it happen in less than a week, but generally speaking, it can take up to 3 weeks. Whereas if you're doing SEO, you're looking anywhere from, well, I'd say a month to over 6 months. With SEO, there's a lot of just sitting and waiting. But with the local, you can check pretty much daily and go, oh yeah, it finally is there. Okay. The idea is that you hurry up and get those pages up in the top of the search engines so they start building authority, which is then transferred into your site, into the pages, and that makes Google happy, it makes you happy. You want those pages to appear anywhere as quickly as possible. Yes, Barbara.
So in thinking about how to approach a website, just kind of broadly, and I have a lot of product on my site, as you know. So would you take it from the top down? Like in my case, it would start with a description of what my company is.
No.
Okay.
Nobody in the buyer's journey cares. That's why the buyer's journey pages are very specific. They're not about you, your company, or whatever. Find what people are searching related to what you sell.
And that's the product or the designer. It may be a designer.
All the above.
Yeah.
You've
Okay.
got tons and tons of buyer journey pages that you could create.
Right, but I wouldn't want to create a buyer journey for something that is that is not, I think, an ongoing purchase, like something that I could have in stock sort of perpetually. If it's something that just comes in once seasonally, I have 4 pieces, and when it sells, it's gone. I don't know that I want to spend my time doing a buyer's journey for that.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but you made it very specific in the pages that it's only available during X amount of time. But you're absolutely right. If that's seasonal, that thing's not in season, then yeah, go to a different page. You've got billions of them.
Not billions, but a lot. I gotta figure out how to triage this.
For somebody who doesn't buy dresses, when I go to your site, there's billions. It's like, oh, right. There are a lot. You've got a lot of dresses in there. And of course, I look at one page or two and I go, okay, I'm done.
And I like to not using my site. You were using the example of buying a car.
Yep.
So for instance, like what would be an example of someone's going, well, what kind of car should I buy? So now you've got whatever, Lexus doing local, like on a specific car or just Lexus cars in general?
You're going to do it on a specific topic. All the buyer's journey is for a specific topic. So it's these 3 pages are about this one specific topic. What is that topic? Is it what is a car? What is a Lexus? The finer points of Lexus? I don't know. You'd have to search in Google in either the keyword planner, use AI to get you started about what people are searching. You can literally search in Google for things that you consider might be something somebody searches, and then move down the page in your search results to see related searches.
Right.
Those tell you people are literally searching these terms. So of those 3 ways that you can find terms, use them all and use as many different terms as you want. And you can create as many different sets as we were talking about before, the buyer's journey. But you're going to pick one action page of your site. So people are buying whatever on that page. And then you're going to look to see what people are searching that's highly relevant to that page. We were talking about your Inizio magic dress the other day. That's very specific. So we also found that the awareness stage was, what is an Inizio magic dress? And of course, I thought it was something that little kids could do, and but it'd be magical for them. And their wand, they wave their wand and then make Kevin go away.
Goodbye.
You're late. So you got picked on. But when you have that, that's a very specific dress. And your buyer's journey is what is an Inizio. Then you got the consideration page and the purchase page. That all point to your action page. Does that make sense?
Yes.
In other words, don't combine subjects. Don't talk about your business. Don't talk about you. The buyer's journey is not for any of that stuff.
Right.
They're about very specific parts of what you sell. And again, the biggest part of what you're doing with the buyer's journey is just like with SEO. You've got to find the terms that people are searching. If you didn't do that, push your buyer's journey pages, if you've already got them written, and put them aside and go back to the drawing board and make sure that somebody is actually searching for what pages you're creating. Does that all make sense to everybody? Bonnie? Okay. Kevin?
So we're going with action pages now, right?
Yeah, somebody made that comment the other day. Actually, I came up with the term because you didn't like landing pages. But I thought it made sense because what action do you want them to take? Well, so let's call it the action page. Forget landing page. I never liked that term in the first place. So I'm glad that you said something. Oh, Arthur's thrown in a link to the buyer's journey breakdown. Welcome, Arthur. Did we wake you? Okay, so this is the time that you need to start asking questions. Getting these buyer journey pages in there is important, and knowing how to start creating them is extremely important. All right, so are there questions about how to put them into your website? That's really where I wanted to touch on today. Barbara, got your hand up. Is it an ongoing question?
Sorry.
You just want to keep asking more?
Try not to hog up the whole time.
Thomas, will you repeat again, please, what the 3 pages are? You've got an action page, a purchase page, and a third one?
Yes, in the chat, do you see the image that I put in there for everybody?
Because I got there late. Can you
Yes.
put it again?
Well, I can for everybody but you.
Okay, I understand.
And do not send that to Kevin. There you go. So everybody, quick, grab that. And that is from What You Will Work. That's your basics of how to set up the buyer's journey pages. Now, a couple people have asked, how do you put them in your site? It's pretty simple. And I'm going to go to, what happened to Justin?
I'm here.
Just here.
I'm right
Oh,
here.
there he is. Okay, Justin. Can you create pages in your website by yourself, or do you have to have somebody do it?
Oh, I have to have someone else do it.
Okay. Not untypical with WordPress, because it can be a daunting task to figure out, well, which editor do I use?
This is all another language to me. So
So the breakdown is you're going to create these pages within your site. Whatever platform that you're using, you just go to your editor and create new pages.
okay.
You will have 3 pages, 3 new pages that you're going to create. The
Hmm.
page, and did you download this image that I put in chat?
I didn't download it. I will now.
Make sure you download that, because that's your holy grail
Hmm.
of what you're
And
going
what
to.
is this called? This is called the action plan for the buyer's journey. Like, how do I title it? I'm sorry.
You can just call it the buyer's journey.
Okay.
And before everybody showed up, there was a question about what is the buyer's journey. It's a sales term. It's what people do whenever they think of buying something. Now, if you all think about the last time that you purchased anything, whether it was a new pair of shoes, something from Amazon, whatever it was, did you wake up and you knew exactly what you wanted to buy that day?
Hmm.
Or did you have to search for it? How about you, Justin? Do you remember what you last purchased?
Oh God. Yeah, some shoes for my son. I had to
Okay,
search for it.
so go back in the conversation that you had about those shoes. And how did it begin? Dad, I
Just
need.
put in, boy sneakers, and then I had to filter it down to his size and the type of shoe he wanted, and blah 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 blah.
Okay, so hold that part. And when you were, go back and say, before you picked the size, before you picked anything, what did you do first?
Went into search and put in boy sneakers.
Boy sneakers?
Mhm.
Okay, that is your awareness stage. Because you're trying to figure out boy sneakers. I don't know which one I want. I don't know what brand. Maybe you got to think about the size.
Maybe
Certainly gotta
kid
think about the
sneakers,
color,
big
because
boy sneakers. I had to break down because boys could be smaller boys, big boys. It could be kids. It could
Yep.
be.
So the
Then
first
sneakers. What kind of sneakers? Basketball sneakers, track.
Yes, and that's all the awareness stage. What kind of sneakers? What color of sneakers? Are they for boys? Are they for girls?
Correct.
That's all the awareness stage. You're trying to get those questions answered.
Hmm.
So if you had gone to and searched in Google, what you should have found were pages that were taking you to a buyer's journey, the awareness stage, to describe. Here's the different types of shoes. Now, here is what the shoe is. Then the consideration is, okay, so now you have Nike, you've got Prince,
Yes.
got a couple
Yes.
others. So those are the
Mhm.
considerations. So you're considering those brands.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, you needed a bunch of information on. That's what that awareness page is. What are the boys' shoes? What are boys' tennis shoes? And you're trying to get a good idea of who's got them, the brand, what they
Mhm.
look like. That's all in the awareness stage. So you didn't go, I'm just going to go buy these shoes for my son. And nobody else does either. You go through that buyer's journey.
Mhm.
What kind of shoes do I need? Do I need to specify for the gender? Do I need to specify the size? Do I need to specify color? So you're gathering information on that. That's what Google wants people to do with their websites. Don't just make pages that say, buy this. That doesn't work. They come to those pages in your website and they just leave. Everybody here has had that same thing happen, and then they go back to the searches and try again. From the same search that they did, they try another site thinking, well, somebody's got to have this information to answer my question. That's why Google has switched to this buyer's journey, because the vast majority of websites do not answer your question, or they elude to answering your question. So it's not been easy to find, I just want to know what kind of boys' tennis shoes are available. Can't anybody answer that? And you'll probably go through 5 or 6 sites right now until it has had enough time where they push out all those sites that have the top search engine positions and don't answer your questions. Kevin, go ahead.
And that's kind of why this doesn't work for national. Because
Not
on a
really.
national level, that's all handled by people who make big lists and probably spend money and do whatever to get there, right?
Well, yes
I mean,
and no. There
When
are
you do a search for something like that, a lot of times the first thing you find is about 5 or 10 lists of things,
Mhm.
which you only get past probably with local stuff, is what I'm trying to get to.
If you searched, it depends on how you search, but you just search for boys' shoes near me. That's when
That's
buyer's
local.
journey is
Yeah.
really going to come up.
Yep.
But
Yep.
even if that page has been around for a while and it has got the authority, even when you do the same search without being local, that page can still come up.
Mhm.
So when you start seeing that kind of thing, that's when you go, oh, I guess I could, well, just leave that one alone. But get in a bunch of them. They can come up in national searches, even if it's a local.
Sure.
But they will especially come up if you did not include near me or your city, if the page has been there for a while and Google already knows has a good idea of where you live. So if you were in that local area where this person has that page, it's going to come up in your search results. Kevin, go ahead.
Okay, so with my redoing my website, right now, based on your drawing, I feel like I'm only going to have one action page. Will everybody have just one action page, or would some have multiple action pages?
For the buyer's journey, you're concentrating on one action page. I think your question is, can that page also be used for other parts of the website that use that same action? Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
If you have different action that you want people to take, or you have different information that you want on an action page for whatever buyer's journey you're targeting, you can have another action page. Just because you have one action page now, it doesn't mean that you can't have several. But you don't want to point your 3 buyer's journey pages to several action pages. Each 3 pages of the buyer's journey that you create are for one action page. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Maury, go ahead.
I was just going to add, keep in mind, if you have multiple services, then you can have an action page for each different service, because each different service may have a different action you want them to take.
Mm.
So yes, you can have many action pages. There's no limit.
See, I told you guys. Bonnie, are you getting all this? I know you've been struggling for a while on these. You're there you go.
Yeah, I'm writing it all down.
Mhm.
You know, it's clearer to me. Yeah, you explained it clearly. Unfortunately, I think some of these people weren't here for the other journeys, the awareness stage.
Yep.
And, you know, so they're a little confused.
I will say this, each week we do try to go a step further with whatever the conversation is, and we've been on the buyer's journey for a while because there's a lot to it. That said, Justin and anybody else who is looking for previous information, there. Just go to YouTube at SEO-Tom. All of the videos that I've done are recorded. You'll find a tremendous amount of buyer journey videos over there in YouTube in my account. So you can go back and jump through or listen to the whole thing, whatever parts that you want. But you'll be able to get all of the information starting from ground zero. I think we started August, July or August, we started with Buyer's Journey. So you can go back and read or listen to those and they will bring you right up to speed.
Thomas, this recording will be gold because Marty took you through a real world buyer's journey, his journey. When he talked about buying shoes for his son,
Yes,
that was perfect. So
That was
this
awesome.
recording will be gold for people to listen to. They
Yes,
need to
that-
hear Marty again.
Justin.
Or was it Justin? Okay.
Yeah.
They need to hear Justin's journey again because that was perfect.
Yes,
He nailed it.
that's true. That was exactly it. That's where everybody wakes up and, well, I did this and I did that. Yes, you do that for each one. So remember this the next time that you do a search in Google. When you've asked it a question, be very wary of everybody who's in the top of the search engines. You're going to click on that one. And did they answer? If not, bounce fast. Because the more times that happens, that page gets shoved out of the top. Google sees that people are going there, bouncing quickly because it's not answering the question that you searched. So don't let your own pages do that. Make sure that any page you have in the search engines does answer whatever somebody's searching. Any other questions? Because I know that there's a bunch. This is still loaded. Does everybody understand how to add pages, add these pages to your website? I know Michael does, I know Kevin does. Bonnie?
What do you mean add pages? You mean physically
Yes.
do it? No, I have to have somebody do that for me.
You're going to have Brian create 3 pages of the buyer's journey for each one action page that you have.
You didn't read my last email. He
No.
increased his prices by 75%.
Say that again?
He increased his prices by almost 200%.
Who?
Brian.
Oh, well, then find another developer.
So I'm in the market for a new web developer. Yeah, you.
I'm already working on the bloody thing. So it's like, yeah, okay, there's your answer. And I'm on the West Coast. I guarantee that my prices are less than what they're on the East Coast. We don't have to pay $4,000 a month in rent. But at any rate, yeah, the adding the pages is just like adding any other page in your website. You're just not going to make a menu item for the buyer's journey pages. Let me make that clear. No menu items to get to your buyer's journey pages. Basically, in essence, it's like they're just floating out there, waiting for Google to come and find them because their bots will, whether you got them in a menu item or not, which we do not want. Google's going to find them because they are attached to your site. You have the action page, and the action page is connected to the buyer's journey pages. And the action page is connected through a menu item in your site. So there is connection to everything as far as Google's concerned, but you, in the website owner, You're going, yeah, but those pages don't have a menu item. It's fine. They're doing their job. As long as they're created and they follow the image that I sent to everybody, you did it correctly. Google will find those pages. If they're done correctly, they make it to the top of the search engines in local search.
When I was talking to Thomas the other day about this, one of the, like, just, I was trying to frame how to think about this, and it's like, they're ghost pages, all pointing to one page. And you can have as many ghost pages on your site pointing to one page as you want to have. But they will all have those three pages.
Maury, go ahead.
Well, the one thing you haven't mentioned that you should mention is those pages are connected through anchor text. So
Mhm.
you'll
Right.
notice that there's highlighted words in articles that click to another page. That's an anchor text, and that's how you connect the pages, not through the menu.
Right.
Just to be clear.
In essence, in fact, literally, those pages are connected to the site. You just don't want users to go to them. That's the only reason that you have stuff in a menu. It's not for Google. Google will find whatever you've created in a website, even if you don't have it in a menu. Now, people I might think are going to scratch their heads going, wait, what? The menu's for visitors. You don't want them to go to the buyer's journey pages through your site. You want them to do that from the search engine. That's the way they're designed. So don't worry about, yeah, but users can't get to the buyer's journey pages. They can through the search engine. That's what they're for. They're not for people to review once they're in your site. How did that user get to your site? If it wasn't through a buyer's journey page, then you don't want to serve it to them now because you don't know at what point they are, what stage they are in as far as the buyer's journey. So as Maury has said, if they parachute in to one of your dresses, Barbara, and they didn't come from a buyer's journey page, don't suddenly feed them the awareness page. So you don't want them to get to that page. They came in from whatever they searched, don't bother them.
Right.
And that's what a menu item is going to do, because people, if they decided they're going to spend some time in your site, they start clicking on different menu items. Don't go to that awareness page. Don't go to the consideration page. I don't know where you are with your journey.
I mean, if they land on your action page ready to buy because they typed in a buyer-centric keyword, you don't want to kick them off the buyer's page to an awareness page. You want them to stay there and buy. They're ready to buy. That's what got them there.
Are you getting all this, Michael? You seem like you have something on your mind.
No, I was completely aware of it. I was just thinking about Murray's comment and how often I see websites that do just exactly what he said not to do.
Oh, yeah. They all do, which is why Google's trying to do this big sweep to clean up the people who have been abusing the top positions in the search engines. I couldn't tell you how many times a day that I bounce from a site. I do a lot of searching for a lot of different things. I'll go to a site, I'll give them 3 seconds to give me something that tells me you're going to answer my question. And if they don't, I'm out. And Google's watching me do that, so they're paying attention to whatever sites that I go to and bounce from. Okay, those guys are going to end up going away. Now, there's got to be more people asking. I think we lost a couple of people who really didn't have a good handle, and I'm not sure why they're gone, but they are. So for those of you who are left, do you have everything that you need, or are you still kind of on the fence about something?
I'm on the picket fence.
That hurts.
Picket fence is jabbing you, is it?
Absolutely hurts.
I've got, I want to add,
That's enough. Next.
oh,
I'm so sorry, Kevin. Could you repeat that?
sure.
He's gonna go tell his mom.
Okay, so
Wag her finger at me.
yeah. Okay, so my VoIP phone systems are, are people search for, use a lot of different terms.
Mm.
Cloud system, VoIP system, hosted system. And so I want to put these pages on my website, to bring in those people that are searching those particular terms. I'm just now wondering how I get them to then the buyer's journey.
Or you just you bypassed it, but you just stated how. The buyer journey pages are to do exactly what you're talking about. So what is it that people are searching? Write the buyer's journey for that term. It still is going to go, that can be your second level of buyer journey pages, still pointing to the same action page. Does that make sense?
Maybe.
Okay.
I have to give it some thought.
Consider the first set of buyer journey pages, the first three, starting with the awareness page. What is the VoIP phone? Because people search that, isn't that true?
Yeah, quite a few.
Quite a few. Okay, so there's your first set. What else do people ask?
Well, see, that's okay. So if they actually search for a hosted PBX, I want a page that to draw those search people in. So I want a page for hosted PBX
So then you start with the awareness page
of the hosted PBX.
What is hosted PBX?
Okay.
There's your three buyer journey pages. Now you decide which action page to connect those to.
Well, since I want everybody just to call me, I think I'm probably only going to have one, maybe two action pages.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you have a tremendous number of terms that you can use for your buyer's journey pages. Again, Maury's dream. Look at this, Maury. He's got a bunch of things and he's going to line up these rows of buyer's journey pages to his action page.
Now he's big picture thinking. That's how I think.
Maury loves that because he likes to just expand out.
Yeah.
I'm all about world domination.
Amen, brother.
Kevin could have San Francisco domination just by following exactly what he's thinking. Each question that's asked in the search engine that people are searching for what you do, the services you sell, the product you sell, whatever. Those are what you want to write your buyer journey pages about. And if you're answering those questions, that's what comes up in the search engine. And they eventually, after they're reading the various buyer journey pages, they get to your action page. So, Kevin, even though that you're not here, we'll talk bad about you. If you are doing all those buyer's journey pages, you're grabbing up people that others are just ignoring because nobody's answering those questions.
Right.
So if you answer the questions, people are going, I've been wondering for years what a PBX hosted blah blah is.
I got plenty of blah blahs.
Yes.
Let me give you another perspective. You've got two groups of fishermen, okay? Boat one has 5 people, 1 rod each. They got 5 hooks in the water. I come along, I have 100 boats and 300 rods in the water, all in the same lake. Who's going to catch more fish? Well, clearly I am because I have way more boats and hooks in the water. Websites are the same way. More pages, the more keywords you have, the better chance you're going to hook the person that's searching than a guy with 5 pages and 5 keywords. You just have a bigger reach, more hooks in the water, better chance of grabbing attention.
And when
That's why when you think big.
and after Maury has brought his small yacht into the area with 300 people on it with hooks in the water, I come along with my trawler. And I've got a gigantic net. And I'm raking in all these fish. So now Maury has to work harder to get over me.
No, Tom, Maury already
if he
caught
crosses
all
his
the
line?
fish.
Sorry, what was that?
But if
I
he
see.
crosses his lines,
I don't have to worry about a line.
I thought you were gonna throw the net over Maury, so, you know.
No, I'm the competition that came in with something twice the size of what he's got, and he has already done a tremendous job. The point we're both trying to make is that you can build out indefinitely. Now, that said, I think Maury just said early this morning that if you go beyond 9 sets, it begins to reverse. Isn't that true?
Well, diminishing returns. The returns get so small that the effort doesn't warrant the return. Right? It just gets to be work for little to no gain. It doesn't hurt anything, but you don't gain anything.
Yeah.
And what Kevin's suggesting is unethical because you just throwing that net is what's called negative SEO. And that's just mean.
That's Kevin. He just means. Michael, you had a comment that I think would be good. I didn't quite catch it though.
Well, my comment was that you wouldn't catch any fish, Tom, because Murray caught them all.
Well, that's his hope anyway. I might catch a minnow or two. But that's true. The whole idea is just that you're throwing out terms to get a page up in the search engine for local search that answer the questions that people are searching. The entire process of the buyer's journey that Google is pushing is because websites are not answering the questions we are asking. So we're left to just go and search and go, all right, so I get a little information here, I get a little information there. All right, I have an idea of what I'm searching for, so I can narrow it down. As an internet user, for all internet users right now, they're having to go about the awareness stage on their own by doing research all over the place. And Google is saying the same thing that we are as the searchers, going, why should you have to do so much searching to find what little bit of information you want? It should be up to these sites that are selling the product and service to provide the answers to those questions. Hence the reason buyer's journey. Answer these questions or you're going to get shoved back in the search engines. So that is a big reason why large companies who don't use the buyer's journey have to be concerned, except the fact that if they've been in business for a long time and they're like Nike or Microsoft or something, they don't have to worry because people are going to go to them whatever. And they'll always be at the top of the search engines because they're that big. But if we bring it down to whatever your competition is, you should be able to get above your competition pretty easily using the buyer's journey techniques. Yes, no, Kevin?
Well, I just wanted to make another comment. First and foremost, I'm glad I'm moving away from WordPress. I'm tired.
I didn't say that.
No, you didn't. But, you know, being able to go in and create at least the text version of what I want to say on my website versus having somebody else tell me I'm wrong, I should word it this way and that way. And, you know, having arguments with a developer, you know, I don't have to go through that anymore, you know? And so, yeah, I am so glad I moved away from WordPress. It's a hassle. And
What'd you go on? What are you using?
Go ahead, tell the world. I'm waiting because we're recording it.
I don't pronounce it correctly. Tom, could you help me out?
You go for it.
Joomla?
Let it come out of those lips.
I think Bonnie said it.
Yeah, I want you to say it.
What is it? Joomla?
Yeah, there you go.
So much easier. What was it? The first day I was introduced to it, I created 14 pages or something like that.
And you still can't create a page in WordPress? I'll take that.
Thanks, Tom.
I'll take that as a no.
No, I can't.
Michael was agreeing with you when you said that you had switched away. What are you using, Michael?
Oh, I do all my own coding. I don't use any of that
Oh, very good. You hand coding pages?
hand code. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Kevin, WordPress has got a bad rap, but a lot of CMS systems have bad raps if you look at them in different angles. So if you were having trouble in WordPress, it's because somebody didn't lead you to the right answer the first time, and that's your whatever you're going to use for a plugin for doing your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And there's some degree to which people don't want you to understand how to do that, so you can
Oh, I
make them
agree.
do it for you.
Yeah.
right.
Marty,
You
don't
know-
play that down. Don't play that statement down, Marty. Developers really do not want you to know how to take.
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
bottom.
I do, and I even tell them how on my website.
Yeah. And I'll be happy to teach you too.
When you hand code, and that's how I started my business, so I still do a lot of it. You find that people are not able to edit the pages easily, or do they want to?
Usually they don't want to. I use a content management system for, like a car dealership or a restaurant or something where they have to go in and make updates a lot.
Mhm.
But then I can go in behind that and create a page that has nothing to do with WordPress or Joomla or any of those others. And I can insert that site somewhere to a ghost page.
Mhm.
And that's what you use for your buyer's journey.
Yep.
Well, with Tom's help, we found out that I had some plugins on my WordPress site that were just thrown in there and just.
I'm working with a customer right now who sells auto parts. And he has, I think at last count, we haven't finished them, but 87 plugins that are not being used.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Not being used. They've been put in there over the years. And, they just slow his website down. And that's one of his
Oh, yeah.
complaints. It's running
Yeah.
too slow.
Yeah, so Tom and I went through my WordPress and we started finding all these plugins that weren't being used for anything or were being used for very stupid things that I didn't really need. And then I started to work with Google about some advertising, and the first thing those idiots want, they want to install 2 more plugins on my site. It's like,
Yeah.
That's when you're using Joomla, nobody says, "Oh, here, just use this plugin." They go, "Oh." And the same thing would happen if you're hand coding stuff. Nobody knows
yeah.
how to handle that. I love it. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I like about using Joomla is because knowing if you know how to write CSS, that's all you need to create a template, whatever you want.
Mhm.
But the platform is easier to use. And Kevin is, nothing about Kevin at all, but he's a typical person and he's found it very easy to go in and learn how to do anything he wants to do inside Joomla. And it got a bad rap many years ago because developers thought that it was Drupal. They confused it with Drupal, thinking you had to know PHP. No, that's Drupal.
Yeah.
You don't have to know PHP now to use Drupal. But that's still what it's designed for, is those who know PHP well enough to be able to do whatever they want in the site.
Well, PHP should only, well, it only is used on the back end. So
Yes. But it saves you from having to, I mean, you can develop your own shopping cart if you wanted to using Drupal.
Yeah.
You don't have to use plugins to do things. But that's not the way that Joomla is. So you use just, I can't imagine having more than 5 or 6 plugins in Joomla because it does so much that you would normally need a plugin in WordPress. Nope, that's part of default Joomla. But 301 redirects, that's part of Joomla. You don't need to touch the htaccess. Now, back to buyer's journey. Bonnie, how are you feeling with the pages that you've got done so far?
I remember I told you I was paying $10 for GPT-4.
Yeah.
Scam. So I got out of that, and I couldn't purchase GPT-4 with OpenAI because they weren't doing it anymore. I had to go on a waiting list. So yesterday, I got a notice off. I upgraded, but I can't seem to get on.
Weird.
8 hours.
So the $10 deal that you found was through an unscrupulous
Yeah.
site?
It said it was ChatGPT-4 when I went on. Not only wasn't it OpenAI, but it was not even GPT-4, it was GPT 3.5.
Wow.
So
You had it, I guess you must have seen that through an email. Is that what it was? Somebody
I
sent you?
did a search. I did a search for
Wow.
ChatGPT-4.
Report them. Microsoft would like to know about them.
Welcome to the internet, eh? And scammers, they're everywhere.
And I did try to get on Bing and Microsoft because they were free and they said that I could get GPT-4 through them. I couldn't figure that out either.
You have to use Edge. Anymore, if you're trying to deal with Microsoft, you have to use Edge.
Oh, okay.
Well, and you have to be careful, Thomas, because the Chat GTP4 through Edge and Bing, it's the back end of Chat GTP4 that they use. So when you use Microsoft's front end, it won't look anything like Chat GTP. It's an entirely different front end.
I have noticed that.
But it is back-ended by Chat GTP4. So you are using the Chat GTP4 engine. You just have a different looking UI. Your user interface is different.
And of course, the only reason that we're talking about AI is because we should highly recommend using AI to generate your buyer's journey pages. But you want to edit them to make them sound and read as human as possible. Just had to throw that in to make sure that you don't just take whatever comes out of AI and slap that into your site. Don't do that.
And then throw it back into AI.
Yeah. Maury, weren't you saying that you could feed it back into Bard?
Yes, because I mean, who knows better what Google wants than Google?
So instead of feeding it back into ChatGPT, feed it into Bard.
They just last week did a Gemini upgrade, and it is night and day difference to how well Bing's version works now. Way better.
I need to start messing with Bard and seeing how well that works. But there are some things that I like about the ChatGPT, but the prompts bother me because the prompts are so specific and sometimes they work. It's like you have to really understand how a prompt works to get it to spit out exactly what you want. It shouldn't be that difficult.
Well, that's why there's a whole industry around engineering prompts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even using those, I found that it doesn't like the way I worded something. So I'll have to study more on that. Any other questions on the buyer's journey? You guys all straight? You know how to make them 4 deep? You guys are smiling and you're going, yeah, I don't get that part. Shut up.
See, I do have a question, Tom.
Yes, sir.
A few years back, I dealt with a real estate agent who was looking at isolating certain zip codes for his marketing. And so what he had done is purchased a zip code. Well, he's purchased about 5 URLs with the zip code attached. And then he did his marketing in that way. And it kind of worked for a little bit. And then a lot of other realtors started doing it, and it just kind of fell apart. But could you do that with the buyer's journey page also by using zip code rather than a specific area of a community?
You can, but what's the value of the zip code is a very specific part of that community.
Right.
It seems to me that you're targeting such a small niche. What if you picked a zip code that doesn't have anybody in that zip code searching for what you built the pages for?
Well, you'd need to know your zip code areas and stuff like that. I mean, there's buildings in Seattle and also in New York and San Francisco, Los Angeles have their own zip code.
Mhm.
So those you might want to avoid unless you had a product that might sell to that group alone. But I was just wondering, I mean, because I can build a URL on my page, which includes a zip code, and Google looks at people in terms of zip codes
It
for
does, but
locations.
That's what I was hearing the first time. I'm glad you repeated that because I was going to ask you how you're attaching it, and you're talking about putting it in as part of the URL.
Yeah.
Now, Maury has dealt with this one too, but I know from what I've been staying up on, Google's not really concerned with the URLs anymore. So the days of your URL having a keyword term in it to match what's in your website, Google is saying, we don't care. You can have, that's why there's no keyword in mine. You go to tagarrison.com because I saw that coming and I went, no point in putting a keyword in there because Google is saying they're either eliminating that as a ranking factor or they're just making it so low it doesn't mean squat. Arthur's
So-
coming on. He's got something to say about that. No?
I'm going to interject for a minute, Thomas.
Okay.
What Michael's referring to in the real estate world is called micro farming,
Mm-hmm.
and the realtor is trying to narrow in on a certain neighborhood and dominate it.
Mm-hmm.
So if he used the zip code as a keyword in his buyer's journey pages,
Yes.
and if a home buyer or seller types that zip code in his search, he'll have a much higher probability of scooping that searcher than somebody that doesn't have that zip code as a buyer keyword in their articles. But as far as exact domain name matching, Google did away with that a long time ago. That's not very effective anymore.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like an old school thing, like adding cities to your URLs, like plumbing in Naples, plumbing in Fort Myers, plumbing in
Yeah.
Okeechobee, things like that. You might rank one page for your area, but the others will be ignored.
So, Michael, what we're getting down to is don't worry about the domain name or the address bar as helping. But yes, you can most certainly do keyword terms that are matching a zip code. You can put zip codes in the text of the page, in the footer. Just forget about the address bar. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I saw the rise and the fall of that a few years back.
Yeah.
So I just, was curious of if that might isolate an area.
Yeah, it'll work for a little while. But
It works in the content of the page. Works really well, just like Maury was saying. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that yes, that zip code area will work. So for the real estate agent, they can dominate that area. But don't try to put it into the URL. Just leave it in the text of the page. And it's just like any other keyword. You want to limit how many times that you're going to say it. But if it's in there, it really micro manages a specific area. Any other questions? We actually reached our end.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to run, guys.
Oh,
So,
okay, thanks, Michael.
all right, talk at you next
See you
week.
after the first of the year, because this is it for this year.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Have fun. Anybody else? Barbara's got it down now. How do you put up with that dinging from your computer all day, Barbara?
It's only when I'm on with you.
Oh, so
She
you
does
do
it just to bug
drive
you,
me
Thomas.
crazy.
That's why she does it, just to get to you.
It's working.
Make sure you're awake.